Morning, guys. Today I just want to talk about being a doer. Sounds a bit of an odd thing to say, but a lot of the stuff out there creates procrastination, delays. There's always another step, there's always another problem, there's always another negative reason. Being the doer is basically just drive forward regardless. And I was doing this a long time ago because the whole point is every business opportunity I've had, it may not every business opportunity made money, but the worst, I broke even and got my money back. The best ones made some decent cash. The point being is having the doer mindset is getting the idea, putting it in practice, and then maturing it, developing it, and constantly improving on it. Now, it doesn't matter what you're doing, the doing mentality is something that will separate you from the herd. I mean, one of the things that you have is once you start going down this path, your confidence will also increase. You start to realize your independence, you start to realize your strengths, your weaknesses, and reinforcing your strengths and shoring up your weaknesses. You start understanding things at a much more in-depth level. So as an individual you improve, but you're also developing and improving the business or whatever it is you're doing on a constant basis. And the whole point of this, which is different to a lot of the stuff out there, is most of the people out there are not doers. They often self-promote themselves as thinkers. They're not thinkers either. Because the thinking is developing the concepts, the ideas and whatever to follow. But I often see most of these people are just followers. They're not developing anything, but they actually are arrogant enough to assume they are doing something they're not, because otherwise they'd have to look in the mirror and realize they're not achieving anything. The good thing about being a doer is it separates you from the crowd, because they're all focused on noise, negativity, caught in the mud of life, the stigmas, the problems, the racism, the hatred, the drive on this DEI stuff. If you're a doer, you can rise above it all. Why? Because you can always find the path. The DEI stuff will limit the growth in a lot of businesses. It will, because they're flooding the hierarchies, the management, with DEI. DEI doesn't produce. They're not the best and the brightest. They're not the most intelligent. They're not the most productive of society. They're there because of race, creed, colour, whatever. Now, call me old-fashioned. The best businesses survive on the best people. So it'll only thrive in government until the government becomes too bloated, and then they start laying people off because it becomes fractured. They've already done it in the tech industries. But getting back on track, if you're a doer, you shape and move with whatever you need to do. There is nothing holding you back. And sometimes it may be your confidence. Sometimes it may be you're not sure what you want to do. But as a doer, you do it anyway. It reminds me of that song, you'll have to look for it. It's Life's Too Short with, what's his name? Look at me. That's PC, isn't it? Warwick Davis. But there's a song there that some of the guys do there. You can Google it. I'm gonna do it anyway, because even if it's wrong, they still do it. But that's, you drive forward, you push forward, you keep moving on. Do not get sucked in with all the other stuff. I'm going to do a video on well-being and why I think well-being's actually being done wrong. But we'll cover that in a minute. But the key to all this, guys, is you plod on. Don't listen to the noise, the naysayers, the negative aspects. You push on with what you want to achieve. If I roll this back a bit, if you think anybody supported me going off to the Philippines in my early 30s with nothing but, I think I took about £6,000 in cash and then spent nearly a decade there. How many people would have said that was a good idea? But you know what? It shaped me as a person. It shaped the fact that I moved to a society that isn't going to give me a free house and benefits and whatever. You got to survive on your own, which means you're reinforced as a doer because there is no safety net, there is no security, there is nothing backing you up. You are backing you up. Other people are relying on you because you are the doer. This is why a lot of people get stuck in a rut, because they assume there are no other options because they were never given them. Nobody teaches you to be a doer. You have to become one. You have to be proactively doing. That's why you will see people that will present themselves, I am a leader, but they have no followers. They're a manager. A leader can accumulate people because they have the doing aspect, they have integrity, they have empathy, they have direction, they have purpose. And if you've got all that, you can shape yourself in life. You can move forward while others stand still. While other people are complaining about the cost of living in the UK, you can carve out a new life on another planet, another country, or you can carve a new life where you are now. You know, I can't afford my mortgage. Right, you're in a 2-bed? Rent the other room out. Start getting somebody else to pay half your bills. There is always some space. The doing is just committing to it, moving forward. Don't fester. Don't overthink it. And one of the key ones. One of the key ones. See these? These are called books. And do you know a lot of people that fester do? They read a lot of books, but they don't action on them. Me, I do have them, mainly for reference. See, I'm going for a new role at the minute because I'm moving into a strategic role. When you start applying for roles at director level, the first 100 days is important. So getting the concepts and ideas around that is important. I don't really have confidence issues, but it doesn't mean I don't want to read up on something I may be able to improve on. Recognizing you're around bad people, useful, practical. The rules of success. This is part of being a doer. The not to do list. The reality is, as you probably realised, I'm not using the books as simply something to hold me back. I'm doing and then reinforcing. I'm doing and improving. I'm doing and recognising where I'm not 100% and going, okay, I'm doing and reading because there is more than one way to... Is it PC to say it? Is there more than one way to skin a cat? I think it's wrong these days. I don't think you're allowed to say that, but it's an old saying in the UK. But the reality is, your abilities can be more than one. So, for example, when I'm dealing with guys that are contractors in engineering, I am engineering focused because the establishing of my knowledge to them is what they recognize. When I'm at a boardroom, it's the almost pompous, arrogant, high level, don't overcomplicate things because most of the people in the room don't understand it. They're more interested in profit and loss rather than what it actually means. They're completely different things in the same entity, same business, same cultures. Well, sorry, different cultures. Engineers are doers. Management's often just management. And the reason I say management is because management is not a doer and it's not a thinker. Because management by design is to follow instruction. You're managing the keys in the word. Leadership is not just about what a lot of these people say it is in LinkedIn, because they're pulling stuff from leadership courses. Hence, I'm just finishing a leadership course, but I sit there and sometimes have to bite my lip because it's very blinkered, it's very narrow. And I get it from one perspective, in the sense of a lot of the people you're dealing with are on this path. But at the same time, that's not leading, that's managing. Managing expectations, managing what they want to see, managing what they want to hear. But it's also why Britain has stagnated for over 40 years, because they're all the same types of people from the same playbook doing the same thing. I'm a doer. So when I look at it and can see it's not running right, I look at, how do I fix that? How do I change it? And I recognize that a lot of these people will not do any change. They do not want change. They do not want a threat to their environment. They do not want a threat to their jobs, because they're all in little cushy environments where if they all sit there like that, they sit and look at the wall and go, oh, another 4 years and they can retire. That's not me. That's not you. We're better than that. So, like I said before, if you're not happy where you are, do something about it. Find a path out. A good thing that you have today is there's a shortage of good engineers. There's massive potential in that, and you'll be earning more than the others. Why? Because I was earning more on the tools than I do now. Why? Because I worked longer hours when I was on the tools. I did a lot of jobs that are undocumented, to say, because a lot of people want your help at the weekends. You get the neighbour asking, can you do something for them? Can you help them? Oh, I've got a new house, but I can't, I want some doors fitted. I want some electrics done. It's all stuff that doers do. And this is what's quite funny, when I heard somebody announce themselves as a thinker in an arrogant way. And I looked and thought, you're not a thinker. I'm a doer. And your arrogance is what's holding you back. Because you're not producing anything. You're a manager. Managing it badly, but you're a manager. But anyway, guys, we're doers. And it's on the right path.